Hi, Donna.
Hello.
I'm bringing Donna Flavell on because I've been wanting to have a talk with you for quite a while. Um, I got introduced to Donna as someone I was working with, but mainly because you came to my retreat, mine and Sammy's retreat, and you just wowed everyone with this amazing range of light essences that you brought along with you. You helped someone at the retreat who was really sick. You're a qualified homeopath. And I know my whole family is working with you for their homeopathy. I've been a very, very long-term fan of homeopathy. So I was very excited to get a homeopath back on board with us. But I know you've got all these amazing, beautiful essences and ranges that you have developed yourself. And so I kind of wanted to like have a wee chat about that. And I've got this amazing, beautiful box set of the essences in the book that she's written and all the cards that relate to each essence. It's just so beautiful, this book. Every time I open it, I'm just like, there's just so much in here, and it links in so beautifully with the homeopathy. So I know we're getting the support of this range, as well as the homeopathy, because they go so well together because everything works on that frequency level, right?
Mhm.
So I just really I felt like I needed to introduce you to the world, Donna.
Oh, thank you. Hello, world.
So I thought maybe you could just start by just maybe giving a bit about your history, and the work that you've been doing for years, and how these ranges sort of came into existence with you in your realm.
Gosh, that's a big story. But really, I didn't really, I think probably like a lot of people, I always felt like I was a little bit different and had premonitions like from really, really early on and saw things and did things and was like the black sheep probably a little bit in my family. But when I've got three beautiful children, and when my middle child was 9 months old, he had had so many ear infections you know, and antibiotics and all sorts of horrendous things that now we look at and go, I'd never do that again. But I got told that he would have to have grommets and adenoids and tonsils out, and I thought, well, here's this little baby, and there's no way I'm going to put him through that. So I started looking at what possibly could be out there that was natural, and came across homeopathy. And this was he's 37 now, and so back then it was homey what, nobody knew any, much about it. And it was this kind of almost secret background thing because it was so different and alternative. And so from then, understanding, I just felt like I had this hand on my back the whole way, just pushing me down and opening all these doors. And so I found out, inhaled everything I could about homeopathy and energy and vibration and everything about it. Became a qualified homeopath, went to international conferences and things like that, that were around and in New Zealand, and just, became a homeopath. And then realized that there was just so much more to it. So I'm kind of being always a little bit outside of the box, and what else is there, and how do we use this in a different way? And so, discovered the bark flower essences and color essences and all sort of different frequencies, and had an amazing group of supportive friends and colleagues who were into spiritualism and at that time as well. And we went on our own journey, discovering and working together and making essences. And I think with homeopathy, I always push to something else, to supporting people in between their consultations, so that they're not phoning constantly or feeling like you've opened this huge box of something and then there's no support for them until the next appointment. So I was being asked by people all around, from one of the crystal waters places in Albany. She'd say, make me up an essence for this, or make me up something for that. You've got flowers, you've got that. And so that particular beautiful Virginia Waters, her name was, And she probably got me started on make me an essence for, she said the Ashtar commander coming and they're all coming home and it's like, oh, I've got no idea what that was. So that kind of took me down this whole other realm of what else is out there and the Council of Elders and, this whole
Wow.
brotherhood and things that, so I kind of like felt like I did a university degree on esotericism, really. But anyway, I just felt that within my homeopathic practice, I was seeing, doesn't matter whether it was a CEO of a company or a student or a mum at home or wherever it was, people were going through similar challenges because we're all human, and being human, in living our humanness, there are things that we need support in. So I started making up essences, and I'll be there with my pendulum or, trying to muscle test and what goes into these and then guided by spirit and then I have to do all my research. Why is this essence gone into this? Why is this crystal gone into this? Why is this homeopathic remedy gone? How does it come together? And so did a huge amount of research and development and that kind of thing, and eventually ended up with 28 essences as what were the main things that I was seeing to support my clients. And then I had lots of practitioners who say, well, what is this? Can we do this too? And how do we do this? And people would say that they found that doesn't matter whether it was massage or reflexology or counselling or whatever it was. They said that their clients were holding the energy for so much longer. They were progressing through their process so much quicker because they had felt empowered to take an essence, say an affirmation. They felt empowered to be part of their own process, which was kind of what inspires me. That's what fills me up, is to help other people become more, help other people have an awareness of where they are and come to a different place, but not to have to come to me or not to have to go to someone else. It was a program where anybody at home could be practicing and using these essences, not just practitioners, so that they were there for everybody, not just people who are qualified. They're all pre-mixed, so it's not you have to think, oh, I need 1 drop of that and 3 drops of that, and how does that come together? They're all preloaded, they're all pre-mixed, they're all so safe to take, whether it's for children or animals or elderly, and you don't have to think about it. So they come with affirmation cards that within the book, so there are affirmations to say. So it's not where you are today, but it's where you intend to be, and the more you say it, the more likely you're likely to be there. So that's how the situational essences came about. So and at the same time, I was working just with the main 7 chakras. And so some of the situational essence do have a chakra essence within them, because that is a core of, we work with this chakra, therefore the situation actually becomes clearer. And then, gosh, I don't know, but I feel like I'm rambling a little bit because he's just so
I love that, because that's what I love as well. I am passionate about giving people tools so that they can go off and empower themselves, and so that they can actually be involved in their own healing process. They don't feel like they're coming to me and I do something to them that only I can do, like some magical ability.
Yeah.
I'm really just a conduit that can help them through some rough patches, but then give them the takeaways so that they can continue that work themselves outside of the practice.
Yeah, so there's the 2 main ranges, which are kind of just 2 pathways to healing. The situational, they're like emotional first aid. They're the right now, what's happening now, and how do we treat this to support you with what's happening now. And
Can you give us an example of, say, one bottle in that range?
so the inner strength one is what I've just been working with a little bit, and on my Instagram and Facebook pages, I've just posted information about that, which is kind of really exciting. And one of the key components in the inner strength essence is from the Kauri tree. And so our New Zealand Kauri tree is it grows strong, it drays true, it's really well rooted down into the ground, it grows right up through the forest and as the king of queen of the forest, it pokes out the top. So it gives
I
us that
love
real
that.
grounded strength. It gives us the ability to be really strong and true in who we are and our core, but it also gives us the ability to tap into our inspiration and grow and be more than what we ever thought we could be, to grow into all we can be. But within the beauty of the Kodi tree is they let go of whatever does no longer serves them. So Kodi tree doesn't have big knots, on the side of it, which is why it's so strong and used for ship spars and timber and building. It's really, really powerful and really strong. And if you ever see a Kodi tree growing in the forest, the branches, the younger branches that no longer serve there's like on one, there's this little tiny tip, and in the tree itself, there's this little thing that looks like this, and the tip goes in, and when it's no longer needed, it just kind of grows and this falls away. And
Wow.
so it's got this ability to not be scarred by life, but to be nurtured by it. So all of that, the leaves and the twigs fall down to the bottom, turn into humus, and then nurture the tree in its growth. And so that it's got the sap rising, So within every essence, there are elements from like all around the world, but key elements from New Zealand, from Aotearoa. We've got that beautiful Lemurian energy that comes through. We're so rich in culture and our Māori, Te Ao Māori ways, philosophies, the Rongoā Māori, the tikanga, the way of doing things, the correct way of honouring and karakia, prayer to whatever it is that we're being gifted that energy from, not just going and taking it, but doing the honouring and the gift and the talking to the tree and asking which part of it wants to be given, rather than just going picking or taking something that looks pretty.
I love
And,
that. Yes.
yeah, and in that way we're being gifted the energy. So we don't just get the energy of the leaf or the flower or the root. We get given the DNA from the entire tree, from not just the tree, but the species, the whole family. So Kodi doesn't just come from one tree. The energetic vibration, when it's gifted, comes from the knowledge of the entire Kodi family and the whole tree family, because it's the subspecies of a species. So there is just this whole depth of groundedness and solidness and stability. But within the tree family, it can be a tree that branches out. So you learn how to actually interact with a whole lot of others on your own level, or with Kodi, it's grown up through all of the canopies of the forest. So it knows how to interact with those down in the elementals and those that are at this level. It grows up at the shrubs, the bigger trees. So we learn to interact with people on a whole different level. Doesn't matter where we are in our growth, and it kind of lets go of ego. So that inner strength essence takes on all of those aspects. But so every essence has got things from the ocean, from things that have got trees and plants and flowers. The flowers give us that delight and that joy and that spark and that, that effervescence. So every essence has got that ability in it as well, depending on what the theme is. But there, like I said, there's crystals, there's colour vibration, there's sound vibration. So they've all got a megahertz that it relates to. There's the homeopathic remedy, which is potentized. So the entire essence combination becomes potentized in its own right.
Wow. And did you channel these?
Most of them, yes.
How
So a
did
lot
you?
of it was channeled using my guides, whoever's been with me there at the time, and then channeling them. And then back in the day, it was, okay, well, now I have to qualify why they might possibly work and go through and do all the research and the development around them all and then test them. And with the lovely group of people that I was with at that time, we'd meet up once a week, and whoever was doing whatever, we'd take a drop of the essence and go into a meditation and prove what was going on and write down all of the, what everyone was feeling and what they did over the next week. We'd go back the next week and, catch up. And that was a really exciting, amazing time. When I'm making essences now, for example, the one that I've made for the Rise Up retreat that we've just done, that's actually just finished. It's finished.
Oh, yay! I can't wait to
I,
get that.
I know I'm far more guided by that, but I
You
think I'm
need to
far more
start doing one for
knowledgeable.
break free now.
Well, it will be. There'll definitely be one after that. Rise Up Free. So I'm far more trusting and guiding, but I'm far more knowledgeable. Like the essences, I've used them so much and for so many different situations. They just are living, breathing parts of me. And I've been through so many challenges too, and I've used them. So personally, I've been through a 4-year concussion. I've had stage 4 lymphoma, cancer, and I'm
Wow.
here, and the essences have just helped me through all of those challenges. So that I don't say I've had them. I actually say I've walked alongside them. That they've walked us along my journey. I've learnt what I've needed to, and they're gone. That vibration doesn't sit with me anymore. So
Wow.
so that's not to tell my story. That's as much to say the essences have been incredible, and I've used every single one of them so many hundreds of times. But I can just tune into them now, and I'll just go, oh, which one do I need? And I sometimes I'll muscle test if I'm not feeling grounded or centered at that
Mm.
particular moment. And with the kinesiology type muscle testing, sometimes it's just intuitive, and I can just see it, and it's there. But I can muscle test and just figure out what I want. But so that's the situational range, and that works alongside the chakra range, just hand in hand. So the chakra essence are more about evolutionary. So that's the situational essences.
That's the situational. Got it. Right.
And so with the situational essences, actually, there's 3 different structures, I suppose. The first 9 are far more about the grounding, the emotional first aid, the emotional support. So it's about, number 1, grounding us down so that we feel like it's like a rescue remedy
Right.
situation that will just ground us and allow us to feel like we've got the ability to even know how to start, know where to go. And then it's a remembrance. So it's kind of remembering your past traumas, your past memories. And instead of having that emotional kind of charge that goes with a lot of traumas and memories, it's about how to remember them in a different way. So it's releasing the energy charge without forgetting the lessons that we might have learned, or
Mm.
it allows us to see things in a different way. But instead of them having a power over us, we become a little bit more empowered to think about them and see them and perceive them from a different place so that we can handle them from a different place.
Yeah. I love
And
that. And maybe to help people understand if they're kind of new to this sort of thing, rescue remedy would be considered a situational essence for, say, trauma or fear or something like that. And so as a situational essence, you're attending to something right now that is pressing, would you say?
yes, so it's far more of a trauma, or it can just be 4 o'clock with the kids in the afternoon and
Yeah,
everyone's tangled and you just aren't quite
yeah,
grounded enough to be able to deal with them in that same way you would if you were fully vitalized. And it just
yeah,
makes you come back into your own center, be a little bit more grounded, take a breath is
yeah.
basically what
I
it
love
does.
that.
Allows you to take a breath, turn around, and then go off in a different direction. Um, so so the of the earth allows you to do that, and once you're in that space, then you can look at what's going on in a whole different manner, a whole different
Mm-mm.
way. Yeah. So the first 9 in that series are about recognizing the behavior. So grounding down, seeing those memories, maybe recognizing what behavior you do, what repeating patterns happen in your life, what do you keep going back to, helping have that awareness of those repeating patterns and being able to see them from a different place. There's manifestation. So some people don't even know what they want to manifest.
Mm.
So it's bringing you to a place where you can even be in a space to think that there could possibly be something else. And then to be able to have some clarity as to how to move forward. So it's the sowing the seed that there is a new possibility, there is a new way. And then there's a release, which is about letting go of all that negativity, letting go of those repeating patterns, letting go of whatever is holding you back from being able to move forward. Yeah. And it's kind of like a continual from here to here to here to here. There's order, which is bringing order to the chaos, and that might be the chaos externally, the chaos that's going on in your internal framework, what's going on in your mind, because if you've got so many different things happening, it's really hard to move forward. So it brings some sort of structure to it, so that again, okay, this is then how I'm going to move forward. I've got an idea. Now I can bring all the moving parts into some sort of order, and it feels more contained and therefore more achievable to be able to do that. Renewal, it's kind of like, okay, I've got all this stuff in order and now I'm absolutely exhausted. I've got no energy to go and do it all. So it's about bringing that new energy in. It's the end of the long cycle. You're now, okay, that's the end of that cycle. I know where I'm going now. I've got the energy to move forward again. So it's like, where am I going to put that new foot? Where am I going to, the light at the end of the tunnel? Calm from the storm is in that range, and it's about, if you imagine a cyclone or something coming through, or a tornado, and you've got all the stuff going on around, and in the middle of that you've got this calm, the calm in the middle where everything's going around. And instead of being spinning around out here, it allows you to be in the center where there is this calmness, and everything can be going on around you. But if you're in this calm space, you can go back and come out. You can see what's happening there and come out of that. You can go over to here and see what's coming up, but you're seeing it from a far calmer place. And often if we've been in a place of turmoil for ages, we come to a place of calmness and we don't know what to do with it, because it's foreign to us. We don't know how to be in that place of calmness, and often we'll invite more chaos in. And it's about being able to be in that transition place, in that calmness, until it feels normal and natural in a new space of being. And then it's about peace and understanding in the new world. How do we feel peaceful and calm and understand where we're going and what we're doing, and new ideas and new technologies and new whatever languages, new jobs, new, life, whole new lives sometimes for some people, or just a whole new version of, you've stepped up to a different level. You're stepping up and asking more of yourself and others around you, but that in its own right takes on some challenges, and it's being able to be peaceful and understand how to manage that. So the first 9 are about kind of remedying situations, and the next 9 are about rediscovery and integration of the new you and what you're doing, and how to see things from a whole different way, and look outside and expand all those different opportunities, how to bring all those pieces of you together that have often, break off the trauma and the bits, and, it's how to incorporate and integrate it. And then the next 10 are about expansion, soul embodiment, how to enhance what's already there, how to enhance and incorporate and be better than all of those things. So that's the structure of the situational range, which is the book that you've got.
It's an amazing range, and the cards are just so beautiful as well, and they're just lovely to read and say the affirmations. And I mean, is this like, are you supplying clinics as well? Like, are you able to supply clinics? Because I know I did a remedy with a client, and she was going through quite a bit, and we sat down with the beautiful essences that I've got, and we worked intuitively with these and made up a remedy. And she said it's just been so helpful to have that in between sessions.
And that's certainly the feedback that comes back. And me, I'm still seeing people as a homeopath. I still see people as an essence, working with essences in clinic. And I just find people are just moving forward so fast in their journey when they can have the essences and the affirmation to support them through that. And so it's part of a threefold, like a trilogy, 3-part program. If you're working mentally, emotionally, physically, there's so much, and spiritually, you've got it's a very holistic wraparound. So
Mm.
taking the essence, being able to just, if you're in a space of not quite, whatever, for whatever reason, by the time you've opened up an essence and taken a drop, physically, you're doing something. Mentally, emotionally, you're reading your affirmation card, and you're taking on that information. You have an emotional charge towards whatever that affirmation is. And then energetically, when you're taking the essence as well, you've got the energetic vibration that spiritually is working with what's going on as well.
Mm.
And if you're working on all those three levels, there's just so much more change that can happen than just taking an essence or just saying an affirmation.
Of
Um,
course, yeah. So that's why I thought it would be great in clinics with people
mm.
to enhance their work.
Yeah, and the book itself, there's, the first half of the book is all about the essences and how they're made, and what they're made of, and every essence has got Pohutukawa and Pounamu, our New Zealand jade,
Oh,
and
wow.
flax, the Harakeke flax. So that every single essence has got those aspects in them because they are so strong and
Mm.
so deep in our DNA of
Mm.
strength and the support and the caring and the ability to blossom and have family in that sense of people gathered around you and being held. And they're things that are really kind of very base chakras. That they are things that we need as humans in order to survive.
Yeah.
And if you can give people those basic platforms of what it feels like to be embraced and to be held and be supported, and have a cutting drive to be able to move through things, then you can just do magic. We can go so far. So all of the essences have got, so there's a crystal and two New Zealand plants that are in them. So you've got that
Wow.
beautiful Lemurian vibration that's coming through all of the essences before we even start to add anything else to them. But then you add in, the strength of the ocean, and the ocean is all about that fluidity, the strength from fluidity, and the fluidity is our emotions, our emotional bodies, but there is as much strength from a lapping wave on the shore, breaking away and eroding away through the strength of consistency, as there is in a huge wave coming and just dumping and breaking
Mm.
down. So, and it's the same where you're in the ocean and it can be a beautiful, calm day, and then within seconds it can rough up to be horrendous, and then it can drop down to calm really, really quickly. So the energy from the ocean gives us the ability to react and respond effectively when we need to the level we need to, and then come back down to being calm and centered again. So it gives us that, it's a real inner strength through consistency and just keeping on going little bit by little bit, but knowing when we can respond to boom, do what we need
Yeah.
to do, and then come back into our center. And so each of any aspect from the ocean is everything from the ocean has got that ability in it. But then there's power, or there's kina, or there's the tube worm, or there's the mussel, and they all have their different little, twist and take on things as well.
Mm.
And so, and they go
Wow.
into the chakra essences and the situational essences, all of those kind of elements. And then the crystals will, each and every crystal has got a different element that comes in, whether it be the nurturing of a rose quartz, or the with a selenite. The selenite is
Wow.
like fiber optic cable that allows stuff to go and move when it needs to, and
Yeah.
or the grounding of obsidian or something, like, where it just allows all that energy to just into the earth,
Hmm.
ground down, the obsidians and the grounding essence, the grounding of our roots, and it allows us just to anchor all of that down, and release it into the earth. So what are we up to? So the chakra essences, they're more about our evolutionary support. It's like the soul's unfolding pathway.
Mm.
Um, and so they work through the chakra system. So not just the basic seven. Um, how much time have we got? I
Well,
can't
I mean, I
remember.
haven't, yeah, I don't mind. We haven't defined anything, but I
Okay.
think it would be like, so the chakra ones, they start like you've got the Earth star and the Soul star as well, haven't you?
So there's four ranges, and looking at my understanding of human evolution and soul evolution, which is not everybody's understanding, but it's what I've been gifted and guided, is as we, come from spirit, we're one, there is that place of unity. And our soul's journey is that it comes down through, we've got our soul star and our earth star, and soul star causal chakra, which sits about here. And that's part of that transpersonal range. So we've got the 7 primary chakras. We've got our bubble, which is like the circle of protection that goes from soul star, includes the causal chakra, and goes down to our earth star chakra. And the soul will often come down through to the soul star chakra, earth star, soul star chakra, come and sit just inside that without actually coming into our body. So this is like a place or a filter, or what I call it is, it's like the seat on the park bench in the playground, where you can sit back and watch what's going on in the playground. It's a little boy or the little girl on the side of the park watching the game, watching the interaction, watching how people their dynamics, the rules of the game. And when they want to, they can come in and they already kind of know what's going on. Or if it's too hard and too exhausted, you can go back and sit on the bench. So to me, this is kind of that.
I love that.
Where you come in and you can kind of have a little bit of an overview as to what this human being might look like, but you're not coming actually into your humanness yet. And so you're coming around and down into the earth star chakra. And then within that journey, we go all the way down into the very, very core of the earth, where it's like it's the first touch of soul with matter, where it's almost like we become the seed. The seed is planted in the soil of the earth. And from that place, we're going all coming back up through, and I work with 9 earth chakras. There's the earth star chakra and then 8 other chakras within the earth. And it's coming up through all those different ones. So it's the crystal line, it's the oceanic line. So it's looking at the structure of the earth and how that relates to the structure within our being. It's the fluid and the oceanic and the Lemurian and Atlantean kind of energy that is sitting down here that works with the fluid and our water within our being. It's the solar inner solar star that works with, it's almost like our solar plexus, our joy, it's our inner fire, it's our inner will, that kind of thing. It's coming up through Gaia, through the womb of that nurturing place of knowing what it feels like to be held. And it's like looking at the umbilical cord and the placenta that goes from the earth star chakra and goes into the earth, and we travel up through, and then eventually we hit the earth star chakra, and from there is that pause where we collect all of our, our Akashic records have all come in. We collect our final karma of what we're going to be when we, when we actually land on earth, when we fully incarnate. And from then we travel up through that hara line and into our physical body, and that's when we incarnate. And then once we're here, that's when we kind of forget, go to sleep, and don't understand how to be at one with the earth. And within our journey of humanness, we go through that soul evolution. So we've got our main 7, which a lot of people know about, and you can research anywhere online and find out about those main 7. But within our bubble, we've got our secondary range, because we've got a celestial transpersonal chakras, we've got the earth subpersonal chakras underneath, and we've got the inner, what we call the inner gateway. So they're within that bubble, and they're the link between our upper chakras and our physical primary 7. Right. And what a lot of people find is if they are just coming from the upper chakras and coming straight down, the channeling energy or working with spirit, and they come straight down into their human body, often it will knock them for 6. They'll work with spirit and then they're exhausted, or they'll have a download and it will take them out, or they'll get headaches. And it's because they're not working with those secondary chakras. The secondary chakras are like the bridge between the soul, the celestial vibration, and the earth vibration. And it helps us incorporate and be that bridge between our humanness and our main 7 chakras and these other vibrations. Wow. So when we start working with those secondary ones, and it's not, nothing's a lineal or a sideways, it's a spiral. So we might work, if we've got our 7 all working, and we might kind of go out here and then go up, and we'll go up and we'll become lighter and we'll start downloading information, but then we'll come back down and utilize and integrate that. And then often what we're realizing now is what's needing to happen is you have to go down into the earth and ground that information. And the more grounded you become within that information, then when we bring that back up and spiral and do whatever else we do within living and being human and doing situational stuff, the challenges happen on a day-to-day basis.
Yes.
We incorporate all of that, but it means that we can go higher. We can then download more. We've got a more lightness, more cellular ability to download more, to take on more, because we're more grounded. So we'll do this and we'll come up and then we'll come down and through our secondary and through our primary, and then we'll go back down into the earth and go deeper down, ground that information from here down into the ley lines and the dragon nexus lines and the electromagnetic fields, and into the deeper Gaia earth and into the planetary or the crystalline structures, and then bring that back up. And we've got far more capacity to be able to evolve and live as humans and be grounded and centered in what we do. And for a lot of people who work in our area, they're so deep and heavy because they're working in the earth, but they're not bring that in, they're not incorporating that energy. They're not using those bridges to actually allow them the lightness that comes with it. We've got so many people who are airy fairy out with it, working so much in here, it's really hard for them to ground and actually live life and be humans and be able to deal with, it's so spiritual, so incredible, but so hard to function on a day-to-day life. So
totally.
So that's why the ranges work so well together. So the chakras are about that evolution or that spiral of what we do and go up and down and do what we need to do for what lessons we need to live in this lifetime on earth. The situational allows us to be very human. So the situational essences support the moment of whatever's going on, and the chakra essences are for the bigger pattern behind the moment, I suppose.
Kind of like the minor and major arcana in the tarot.
Absolutely. And you can't do one without the other. Well, you can, but it's far easier if you're supported in that.
Yeah.
And together they kind of are like that full healing toolkit, really.
Yeah. I think you should do a masterclass on this, because I'm sure there would be, a lot of interest from people that are wanting a little bit of extra support, wanting that understanding and personal kind of contact. And yeah, we're going to put all your contact details and your website and the way people can connect with you in these essences in the just above the video. But is there sort of any one thing that you would like people to take away from this chat about the essences that you haven't said yet?
I think that one of the key things for me is about having a bubble of protection, having that circle of protection, being able to work with the soul star, the earth star, and that causal chakra. If we have that bubble of protection, we feel supported in our journey energetically, spiritually, on that soul journey. And if we feel protected and supported, then that gives us the freedom to then go on and do our work.
Yes.
And often people don't have really good boundaries.
Yeah.
And they'll either become really rigid or really fluid, or they'll eat a whole lot more, and the eating becomes the protection around them.
Yeah.
But if they had that bubble of protection around them all the time, it's just there, and then it allows us to walk knowing we're fully supported. And since we talked last, I've just been guided to make those 3 chakras up as one essence, as a circle of protection. And so that will be available on my website.
Oh, amazing.
So that would be the one thing. If you're going to start anywhere, get your bubble, get your support,
Yeah.
get your protection, and then you can work through whatever it is that comes up. I'll just grab the cards. Bear with me 1 second.
That's perfect. I think that's such good advice, Donna, to get that bubble of protection around you and then
And
go from there.
yeah, and I think the thing with the essence is they are so simple. They're not there to be hard. They're there for anyone to be able to use.
Mm,
When I'm working in clinic, I'll ask people to shuffle a card. So it's as simple as this. Shuffle the cards, be thinking only about what is the support I need moving forward. You don't have to think about what it is. Your soul, spirit, higher self, guidance knows what it is that you need. You've already been thinking about it. You might have talked about it, but only focus on that. If you're thinking about someone else, you'll choose for them, and you can do that.
right.
In saying that, if you're going to choose for someone else, just tune in your higher self to their higher self. Is it actually okay for you to tune into their energy? You'd
Yep.
never go into someone's house without knocking and making sure it was okay. So don't go into their spiritual field without that.
Amen.
But shuffle the cards, think about what it is. At some stage, you'll think, okay, it's time to stop. Spread the cards out, look at the cards, and there'll be one that just takes your eye. And so it might be this one. Trust your intuition. You know, your inner self, your inner guidance knows. Figure out what it is. Something for mummy, something for that
I
beautiful
love that. That's the one I've got on top here too.
we've done that a few times, haven't we?
Yes, we have.
You can just go, like often in clinic, I'll be going, is it in my left hand? Is it in my right hand? Okay, divide the pack. If it's in here, okay. Then again, is it in the left hand or the right hand? And you just keep doing that until there's only one card that's left. And it might be celebration and blessings, or it might be, balance and inner hearing, being able to hear your inner voice.
Love it.
On each of the cards, there's a little bit of information, which is a summary of what's in the book. The book's got, in the back, it's got a whole lot more information in there. This is a little summary from what's on there, and then you've got your affirmation at the bottom.
Yeah.
Love
that. Love those affirmations. They're beautiful.
It's that simple. Anyone can do it. You can't overdose.
Yeah.
I suggest to people that they take the essences a minimum of 3 times a day for 2 weeks.
Right.
It takes 21 times to try and break a cycle or a pattern. So 3 times a day for a week is 21 times. If you don't replace that cycle, that pattern with something else, it's very easy to fall back into that pattern. So that second week is about really setting up that new way, really making sure that cell memory, the vibration of your cell memory, once you get more than half of it changed, you've still got half of that old memory left. So that second week is about really getting rid of all of that old pattern of behavior so that cell is filled up with this new vibration. You're really anchoring it down. And if you ever need to go back to that essence again, it's just about reminding the cell. Sometimes we get, a bit on the bum. Gosh, where did that come from? That stuff has come back again. It's just a little reminder to make sure that we really do know what to do. You might need a couple of drops of your essence again, and then that's it. That's all you need, because you picked it up. If you haven't and you just stopped taking it halfway, you can easily still sit back into that pattern.
Yes.
And you might just have to take it for a few more times. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to take it the most effective way, that's how you do it. Totally. And you can take it 10 times a day. You can take it 15. Any time you think, do I need to take my essence? You need to take your essence.
Right.
Your inner child, your inner energy, your inner soul knows when. And so it's almost like you have a little sensation or a thought or an energy charge. If you're thinking about an argument that you've had or about some trauma that's happened, anytime you think about it, it's like a little child coming and knocking on the door or knocking on your knee and saying, Mummy, can I? Mama, can I? Or Daddy, can I? If you give that child what it needs, it will go away and be happy. And it's doing the same thing to our inner child or our inner being. Each time we feed it and give it what it needs energetically, it can go, I don't have to worry about that. I don't have to stress about it. I'm being looked after. I'm being supported. And then it'll be, ideally, you just then take it less and less and less and less, but then just take it your 3 times a day. In the morning when you wake up, it's a okay, this is how my day is going to be. It's a reminder. By lunchtime, you've forgotten everything that you thought about life's too busy.
Yeah.
Take it again before you go to sleep, so that when you're going into that subconscious mind in that time of healing, soul healing, energy work, you're setting up that, you've adding that foundation of taking it during the day to the nighttime. You're setting up this whole new foundation for how you process and assimilate that. And then you wake up the next morning, you've already built a bit of a foundation. Day by day, you're just growing a deeper, deeper foundation, like the foundation of a house. It gets stronger and stronger and stronger. So then what you can add to it becomes so much more without falling over.
Yeah, I love that. And I know I've been giving my girls remedies and essences since they were babies. Since pretty much since they were born, I've been dropping things into their mouth like a baby bird, and they just love it. For them, it's just so nourishing and nurturing to have a little essence that's just for them, and they still love it just as much now as they did when they were little.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So yeah, if you're able to, if you put my bio there, I've got on my Essences website, I can just, if people are a little bit nervous about starting the journey, they can just book a quick session where I can help them find a card, and there's a link there where you can just tick off all of the different thoughts and feelings that you're having, write down, a sentence about what's going on for you, and then I can just tune in a choose card for you.
Oh, wow. That's so great. I love that.
There's the ability to have a half-hour session, so we might just quickly go over what's going on, go over those thoughts and what's been happening within that form that you send through, and then I will work with you and help you choose an essence, and then explain why it's there, so that you can feel a little bit more empowered about why you've chosen it and what that involves. And then there's an hour session if you want something deeper, to go over it in more depth. We can do that. And then for people who want to go, there's a link to my homeopathic website. And if you want homeopathy and you want an hour and a half long session where you're going into your life and your history and why things have happened and that really deep karma changing kind of stuff, you get an essence that covers all of that as part of that journey. So there's a few options there. But in saying that, I've got a brand new website. Each week I keep thinking it's going to hit the button to go live. I've got whole new branding from what's on there. I've got all these beautiful, labels.
Oh, wow, they are stunning.
Yeah, so there's just a whole different vibration. The last Essence website, I think and the labels are about 12 years old, and life's changed so much since then. So they're absolutely relevant, but there's a whole new level of information that's come too. So since the book, I've been really busy since this book, because that was published 2012. I've written a new ebook for the Situational Essence and an ebook for the Chakra Essences with all of those different ranges.
Wow.
I'm just in the final stages of publishing those. So this year's been like birthing a whole new baby.
Wow. It takes so much time and energy, doesn't it? But I know that it's worth it. And, I know that just from our own work with you, that the power that you hold and the connection to so many different elements is just so powerful. And I highly recommend that people book the whole 1.5 hours with you.
Oh, thank you. Yeah. And guided by spirit, I just feel that this is, I just don't even doubt it. I've had some mornings that the birds are chirping and I'm just going to bed because I'm in that flow of writing and channeling and whatever. But it just seems so important with all the changes that are happening in Earth's vibration and our atmosphere and our solar flares and the, tilting of the Earth. There's that Earth structure, and everything is changing. And it's really important we tweak and fine tune our inner grids so that we can align with that. And instead of, going through and just being kind of slightly off center, means we can actually flow through these changes without illness, without trauma, without drama, without exhaustion, and just be supported through that. So it's so, I've just been guided so much that it is so important this information gets out there. It's so important. So that's probably why I'm so passionate. So if people do go on my website today, it might be different from what it will be next week. And the bottles will look different, but there's just a whole new vibration. And I'd have to say that the way that the essences have been gifted to me from the ocean or from the trees or from the crystals, the way that it's been gifted, as the trees, as the kauri, or as the tōtara tree, or as the kōwhai tree, or as the paua, as they're ready to upload, when our energetic vibration changes, as we raise in vibration, they will release more information. As I'm guided to that information, because I'm working with that energy vibration, it's an energetic vibration, it's a thought pattern. Any essence that I've ever made that's got kauri in it is immediately upgraded. So as I upgrade my essences, as I upgrade what's going on, you can have bought something in 2010, that vibration will continue. And what's exciting is that, so it never gets old.
Yeah.
And what's exciting is in the ebooks, there's a whole upload on a whole lot of different information that's added to what's written in the hardback book.
Amazing.
So for anyone who's got the hardback book, there will be they can contact me, and there'll be a special deal that they can do if they want to get the online book, so they've just got it immediately on hand on their phone, or if they're going somewhere and want to look up something, it's there, which is kind of exciting. That's how we work now, isn't it?
I know. There's definitely some benefits. That's amazing, Donna. I'm so excited for you to launch this new website and these new labels. And I just think that this is the perfect time for them as well. And that they're just going to be so divinely received with gratitude by everyone. So, yeah, thank you so much for sharing all this wisdom and knowledge today. And I'm going to make sure that it's very clear how people can get in contact with you, and we'll get this up as soon as we can.
Yay. And if
Yeah.
anyone just wants to email me, that feel free. I'd love to hear from anyone. If you've got any questions or want to know anything more, just make contact.
Amazing. Thanks,
Oh,
Donna. Mwah,
oh,
mwah.
kia koutou katoa. Love to you all. Thank you.